So good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming today. Today we're going to be discussing the ACAP awards that will be distributed at the ACAP conference this year. And we're also going to be talking about the new opportunity at the ACAP Ag Con Con for a poster session. So I'm going to kick us off today with some information about the ACAP awards, and then we will transition a little bit later to talking about those posters. If you have any questions in the meantime, please put them in the chat. I think everyone on the call already knows me. I'm Erin Troba. That's my email address, and I work with the Center for Ag Conservation Assistance Training. And if you don't know Liz, I'll let her introduce herself.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Liz Fulton. I'm the Ag Outreach Specialist with the Penn State Ag and Environment Center, located at the Penn State Harrisburg campus, working in northern Lancaster, southern Dauphin, and Lebanon areas.
Thanks, Liz. Also not able to join us today will be Katie Doster, who is part of the awards committee helping organize these parts of the conference. All of you probably already know, but I just wanted to make sure that it was included in our slides to save the dates for the ACAP Ag Con Con, which is in September in Indiana County. The registration is not live yet, but I'm sure all of you who are on the call already are on our newsletter, but make sure that you have the dates saved for that. So let's get into the ACAP awards. So this is an annual opportunity that was started so that we could recognize all the amazing work that is being done at your district offices. So for this year, I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of the timeline. The award period has already been open. You can submit nominations at any time. There's also the informational session, which is new this year, so that we can make sure that everyone is aware of the opportunities and information about each award category. And I just want to highlight as well that the deadline for nominations is mid-July. It's July 13th, 2026. So you have plenty of time between now and mid-July to submit your nominations, but that will be the hard deadline for receiving any nominations. We're not going to be extending it. Also, this year, we will be working on notifying the winners in August ahead of time. The reason for that is that we want those award winners to be sure to be at the conference banquet, which is, of course, in September. So we hope that all of the award winners will be able to attend the conference and receive their awards in person. So please also put on your calendars that July 13th is the deadline for nominations for any of these ACAP awards. So just some things that came up from previous years, and I just wanted to make sure that it was clarified that there's some terms of these awards. Individuals, districts, partnerships, projects, they're not going to be eligible to receive the same award in back-to-back years. So for example, if Liz won the ACAP MVP award in 2025, she would not be eligible in 2026. That being said, she could be eligible again in 2027. We know that there's lots of excellent people out there, and we hope to recognize all that excellent work, but the only restrictions that we've put in so far is that you can't receive the same award at back-to-back years. Individuals, districts, and partnerships, projects, all these different categories of awards types are eligible to receive different awards in back-to-back years, however. So, for example, if Liz won ACAP MVP in 2025, one of the projects that she's working on could be nominated for the Innovative Project Award and receive that in 2026. So there's different award categories which we will go through, and that doesn't mean that as an individual, as part of a team, that you can't be recognized for your work on an annual basis. It's just in different award categories. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know. Okay, so similar to last year, if you were familiar with the different categories, they're the same again this year. We have 6 different award opportunities. There is the Rookie of the Year, the ACAP MVP Award. We renamed this year the ACAP County Team Award, the ACAP Partnership Award, the Innovative ACAP Project Award, and then very popular is the Best ACAP Project Photo Award. And I'm going to go through the descriptions of each of these awards just so that everyone's familiar with the different requirements for each of these awards and all of the information for when you submit a nomination so that you know that ahead of time. For all of these awards, some typical information that will be needed for the submission will be the names of the people who participated. So that's going to be different for the individual awards like the ACAP MVP and the Rookie of the Year award. That's just one person, of course. But if you're working on a project award or a team award, you're going to have lots of names and you're going to need the contact information, the email addresses of those people that are going to be included in that submission. Often we will also need the organization or place of employment of those people. So, for example, we have a partnership award where we're recognizing the collaborative work that is done across districts through the implementation of ACAP. And so, if, for example, Liz works at the Ag and Environment Center, so I would want to make sure that that information is being included in the submission as well, so that we know where everybody works as part of the partnership. Another important component of each award submission is a description of why they are deserving of the award, and specific examples are really necessary for deciding whether the nominee should be receiving the award. So please try to include specific examples. We also have the offer or the opportunity rather to include a support letter. So if there is a farmer who has high praise for you as an ACAP MVP, you could include that in your submission. We only allow for one support letter to be included for each nomination, but you may also include a support letter that will bolster your nomination. So let's kick it off with Rookie of the Year. So the Rookie of the Year, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's somebody who's newer to employment within the ACAP program. So this individual will have distinguished themselves through innovative learning, adaptability, and relationship building to address ag resource concerns using ACAP in their first year. So you must have worked part-time or full-time on ACAP projects, and you must have started at some point after January 1st, 2025. I recognize that that's more than a calendar year for the conference, but we want to accommodate the fact that sometimes people need more than 2 months of or 3 months of work to be considered a rookie with something to show for the effort that they've put in. So in addition, we also need their employment start date so that we know whether they're qualified to be considered a rookie of the year. So that's an additional piece of information other than the other requirements for submission. So ACAP MVP, well, again, this person could be a rookie, but more likely than not, they will be somebody who's probably worked on the ACAP program for a longer period of time, or maybe has been with the district for a longer period of time, and with similar requirements for this award. So we're really looking for somebody who has distinguished themselves through hard work and dedication towards addressing ag resource concerns utilizing ACAP funding. So again, they must have worked part-time or full-time on the ACAP project or on ACAP funded projects. So we're looking for somebody who has demonstrated leadership, mentorship, and program influence beyond a single project or a single farm. Okay, and this award category is the County Team Award. So I wanted to highlight the importance of this award because a lot of times in some counties there might not just be one person who's implementing the ACAP program or one standout person. You want to really recognize the whole team that is supporting the implementation of these programs. So it could include your district manager, an ACAP delegated person, but maybe there's an ag tech who also supports the program. There could be an administrative person in your office who does a lot of coordination and logistical work. So this award is really meant to recognize the whole district office for your collaborative work in implementing the ACAP program at your district. So this doesn't necessarily include any other partners, and it doesn't necessarily highlight just one person. It's about the team effort. So in that case, we do need everybody's names and email addresses as part of this award. So all of that information should be included. To distinguish the team award from the partnership award, this award is really meant to include a partner that is not a district employee, but they have to be in collaboration with a district. So the criteria for this award is that the first nominee of the award must be a district or an ACAP delegated entity. And then the secondary awardees are the partnering organizations or the partnering entities. So I want to make sure to highlight that it's not just one organization and their partnership with multiple different districts. It would be the partnership between the district and the partner or multiple partners to implementing perhaps a strategy or perhaps one particular project. It can be up to you on how you interpret this, but it is between any two or more separate organizations, but one of those organizations has to be a conservation district. You could also possibly have multiple conservation districts as part of this award. So we need to have a designated contact person at each of these partner organizations. I know that as part of the submission form, it could end up being super, super long, but if you work with a partner organization, for example, the Ag and Environment Center, I wouldn't have to list every single person that works at the Ag and Environment Center. I would list a contact person so that we could reach out to that individual in the case of needing to review any of the nomination information. Something that I really want to highlight, I really appreciate that people appreciate the work of the State Conservation Commission partners and our team as well, but we're not going to be considered as nominations, as partners for this nomination process because there are key members on the awards committee that are part of those organizations, and we're not going to be awarding ourselves. So thank you for any shout outs, but don't waste your time with submitting a nomination for us. Okay, there's also the Innovative ACAP Project Award. So in this award, we're really looking at a particular project. So not just the implementation of ACAP across your whole county or across multiple projects or program. We're looking at a specific project and something about this project being innovative, unconventional, or pioneering thinking. So that might include, but not be limited to, unique funding strategies or BMP selection or BMP implementation. It could include creative design and engineering. There's lots of ways that you can interpret what would make this an innovative project. However, in the submission, please tell us why you think this is an innovative project. The criteria for this is that the project has to have paid for in part or in whole using ACAP funding. The project must have been completed after January 1st, 2025, anticipate to be completed by the end of 2026. So we really are trying to consider completed projects more heavily. So if it's done, that's great. If it's not done quite yet by September, it still could be in the running for innovative project. So the additional information that we'll need for this award is that we need the name and county of the nominated farm of the project, the name of the landowner or farmer, and any of the partner entities that have worked on the project, the percentage of funding that ACAP gave for this project. So for example, if EQIP or Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay, any of our partner organizations provided some of the funding, just the approximate percentage of funding that ACAP provided. And then the completion date or anticipated completion date. Those are some of the information that will be included in the nomination form. Okay, the last award category is the Best ACAP Photo Award. So this one is a good opportunity to showcase your creativity and your work. It's a pretty low barrier to entry because I know that a lot of you take photos on sites. So go through your photos, find the best one, the one that you're most proud of that you might want to get printed, and then submit that for this award. And what we will do is that we will print it and mount it on a foam back, and that will be up for people to vote for the best photo. And then what you'll get to do is you'll get to take that photo back to your district after the conference. And this award category is voted on differently. So the other award categories will be reviewed and selected by a committee of judges. This one is going to be voted on by your peers at the conference. Another thing to highlight is that the photo must have been taken in 2025 or 2026. So we want more recent photos. We want to highlight all the continuing work we're doing. And that some additional information that we need for the submission is the farm that this photo was taken on. We want to just validate that it's actually an ACAP project and not just another project that was not related. Okay, so here is where we will show you how to submit a nomination. So I would like for everybody to who's here, you already heard all the words, descriptions, and criteria and information needed. Make sure to re-review that before you submit a nomination. Gather that, write up the description, which is 700 words or less, of why the person, partnership, project deserves that award, and then you can go to the nomination form and submit. And Liz has put the form into the chat, and you can also scan it for accessing that nomination form. The link to it is also in the email that got sent out to the ACAP listserv. So if you ever need to refer to that, please do. I also want to remind you that you would need to submit a new form for each separate nomination. It can be quite annoying to submit multiple nominations because you have to put your information in again and again and again on the first slide. But I appreciate your effort with that, with submitting nominations. I also want to say that it will be on the conference registration site, and Jenny just put that in the chat as well. This link will be available in a lot of different locations. However, if you lose it and you just need somebody to send it to you quickly, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to send it to you. Right, so I'm going to transition now to Liz, who's going to talk about this new opportunity this year for you to demonstrate some of the work that you've been doing at the district. So take it away, Liz.
Thank you so much, Erin. And it was great to hear about all of those different nomination opportunities for those awards. I always really enjoy hearing the scope and breadth of the projects within the state through these awards. So really excited to see who gets nominated and who gets awarded this year. So thank you for that info. So as Erin alluded to, we have a new aspect to Ag Con Con, always innovating, always bringing something new. And this year we will be having an ag conservation poster session. So we're really excited to have this opportunity. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what we're looking for in the posters, what the process will look like, along with some guidelines and some resources and examples. So when we're talking about these posters, it is a real variety of topics we are looking to include. Overall, though, we would like them all to relate to ag conservation. Perhaps this is highlighting a successful project, maybe a unique project. You can have photos, dialogue, funding breakdown, lessons learned, things that you would like to share with others to inspire and also share the amazing work that's being done. You can also include outreach efforts, partnerships, and like I said, lessons learned. So some of the examples that we have are from CACAT, and the one on heavy use air production was from a college student at one of our engineering classes, just to give you guys some examples about what they can look like. So when we're talking about these posters at the conference this fall, we would invite any posters that have been presented elsewhere. These do not have to be unique and only presented here. If you've presented at another forum or something of that nature, feel free to submit that poster for this session as well. All of these posters will be displayed throughout the duration of the conference for passive interaction with all of the attendees. And there will be a designated time, not the whole time. We don't expect you guys to spend the entire reception standing by your posters, but we would like to have a designated time during the reception where presenters are able to stand with their posters to share with folks in the group about the poster that they brought, the subject matter, explain, have a conversation, and once again, showcase the amazing work that's being done. And just as a reminder, if you would like to present a poster, you will need to register for Ag Con Con. Poster guidelines, we're looking for these posters to be about 2x3 or 3x4. 36 inches by 48 is kind of like your traditional big academic poster. Doesn't have to be that big. We can do smaller posters if you'd like. They can be vertical or horizontal. Most of the time they are horizontal, but if you have vertical, we will definitely accept those and love to display them. We do request that posters are printed and ready to be temporarily mounted. At this time, we are anticipating using binder clips, so your posters will come back to you unmaimed and ready to do with what you will poster presentation. Easels and poster support will be provided by the conference staff. So once again, all you've got to do is get that poster printed and brought to you. Now you may be asking yourself, I've never made a poster before, Liz. How do I do that? Well, Penn State's library has a resource for creating academic posters. And while these are not required to be academic posters, I think that this resource has some really great best practices regarding design, layout, font size, font type, things like that. That QR code there on the left side of the screen or the right side, I apologize, on the right side, if you scan that, it'll take you to the link that is posted in the presentation, which is the Penn State Library resource for creating posters. Now, you also may be asking yourself, where am I going to get a 2 by 3 foot poster printed? Well, I would encourage you to first look at local print shops. In my experience, I have found that local print shops to me tend to be more affordable and easier to work with than the big box stores, though big box stores are also an option. I've gotten posters printed from them as well. I will be sharing resources closer to the date with some print options in the Indiana County area, close to where our conference will be held. That way, if by some reason you are unable to or don't want to transport a poster, there will be some opportunities to get it printed there. I would recommend, however, that you have it ready for pickup for the day that you arrive, just to make sure that you're not waiting at the print shop with bated breath for your poster to come off the presses. And if there are any questions, I'm always here to help and happy to guide as best I can. Here are some continued poster examples. Kaylee did this amazing practice approval system poster kind of explaining this new opportunity that CACAT has offered. You know, really nice, easy to read, straightforward poster with a lot of great information. Here we have our CACAT Center for Ag Conservation. Once again, really easy to read, has some great information. I love the QR code, the maps, and the photos. Nice, bright, colorful. This is a little bit more of an academic poster exploring stream design crossings, where it has some really nice CAD drawings, which I think is always really interesting, especially for folks who may be new to the conservation community. I just got fresh off of boot camp and I looked at a ton of CAD drawings and I thought that those were really interesting. Also, really appreciate the before and after shots on the right and some really nice information about why it mattered, how they selected the site, and the overarching benefits. I think this is a really interesting one that showcases what a project poster could look like. And then once again, love the cow in the bottom left-hand corner, heavy use protection area. We have our basic CAD drawing, straight to the point, bright, colorful, fun. So we have a wide gamut of posters that you can be inspired by. And just to circle back to what we're looking for overall, is that we would like to see posters that are highlighting ACAP projects specifically, whether it's special projects that were very unique, projects that were successful, those projects that had a lot of partnerships involved or diverse funding structures, and putting this into like a field trip on a poster board, if you will. Anything ag conservation related. Now, let's say that you've got a great project and you're like, this is really great. I just don't have the capacity. If you have a summer intern, this could be a task that you may consider giving to them. This is a really great opportunity to have those folks who are getting into the conservation industry to do a deep dive and to learn really well what goes into a project. It gives them the opportunity to research. It gives them the opportunity to practice their writing skills, their poster creating skills, which while they may not be making posters quite a bit post post internship, it still has a lot of really good transferable skills. So once again, consider your intern for creating a poster for display. Now, how to register for the poster. Once again, you must register for Ag Con Con. If your intern does it and they aren't able to attend, that's okay. During your registration, we just ask that when the question pops up, you just answer it. It's going to ask, would you like to present a poster? Yes, no, or maybe. Those that answer yes and maybe, we will be doing a follow-up after registration is closed just to go over the guidelines once again and be available to answer questions. So, speaking of questions, does anybody have questions? And this is not just specific to the poster session, but also if you have questions about the nomination process or anything that's been covered today, now is your opportunity to ask myself, Erin, and I'm sure Jenny would be happy to jump in as needed. I saw her on here as well.
We got one question in the chat, Liz. So can we get more information on the poster criteria in an email?
Great question, Ali. Thank you, Erin, for bringing that up. Yes, we can definitely, and we do plan on doing a follow-up email. Ali, I'm not sure with which group you're at, but I do intend to share all of this information once again, just to make sure I know that you may be seriously writing down or any number of things. So we will definitely be sharing the overarching poster goals, outline of the presentation, or sorry, how the posters will presented and then also the print guidelines and requirements. Those will all be shared. So thank you so much. That was a great question.
Other questions? I'll jump in and say, if everybody's thinking if there's any questions, that the goal of also introducing the poster session alongside descriptions of the awards is that if you're already doing the work to submit a nomination for an award, you might consider putting all that information, not all of it, but putting that into a poster format. Or if you're doing a poster, you might consider nominating it for an award. We're just trying to align some of those goals so that it is easier for all of you to celebrate your successes.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's a really good point to share.
Mhm.
All you got to do is just pop that font up to a size 24, get some nice pictures in there, maybe a snap of the CAD drawing, and bada bing, bada boom, you have got a
Got a
poster
poster.
ready to go. And
Yeah.
how sharp would that look like in the break room? I don't know.
It's true. It's true. All right. Well, it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. So let's just, we have, of course, our ACAP slide. We all know that we're funded through ACAP, the Ag Conservation Assistance Program. And I wanted to highlight a couple of upcoming events. If you're not already signed up for the Equipment Demo Day, that is on June 30th. That's a full day also at the site of Ag Progress Days, or the Agronomy Farm rather, excuse me. It's in the same valley in Center County. But this is a really fun, fantastic day to learn about the basics of farm equipment, including identification, use, calibration, and how equipment supports conservation. So even if you feel like you are really knowledgeable, it's a really fun day to come and see the machinery in action and have folks talk about the different components of those equipment. So thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then if anyone has more questions at the end, we'll stay on for a couple more minutes. So thank you.